YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and welcome back to the Teenage Movie Critic, and I'm your fellow movie enthusiast, Nicholas Montez. And that is it. It is December 31st. It is the end of 2025. But not only is it the end of 2025, but it's also time to go back and look back at some of my favorite top 10 first-time watches of 2025. Now, granted, if you follow me on Instagram, you kind of already have seen the list of what it looks like, but if you want to see a full video of me explaining why they are in there, this is the video. So here are my top 10 first-time watches of 2025. Alright, so number 10 is The Nice Guys. Now, just a point of reference, I actually saw this movie just like a week ago. I was kind of in the pitch. I was watching the Predator movie by Shane Black, and I was interested in some of his other films, and The Nice Guys happened to be one of them. I actually heard that this was like one of like the best action movies of the last decade, and I love action, so I gotta see this. And to be honest, it's not exactly as of an action movie, but what I really enjoyed about it was, of course, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling's chemistry with one another. They're both funny and hilarious. They work well together. I think the story of them trying to investigate this story of this dead porn star is kind of interesting a little bit. And there's plenty of funny jokes, and the movie just has a sense of style, and the way all the characters work well. And also, it just gives a really 2016 vibe, even though it takes place in the 1970s. And when I say 2016 vibe, I mean like the vibes of that year, not like movie vibes of that year, not like it takes place in the present day. I obviously know it takes place in the 70s, but overall, absolutely love this one, and caught me way by surprise.
This is Los Angeles, gang capital of the nation.
It just goes on and on, you know. Either they don't know, don't show, don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Alright, so now we have Boys in the Hood, and honestly, this was probably the biggest surprise film when it came to me this year. I remember my dad recommended me this film a lot, and honestly, I was blown away by everything that this film delivered. First off, it exceeded my expectations to where I thought Lawrence Fishburne's character was actually good. I thought they were going to do the generic thing where the kid gets sent to the father's house, and not only is he a bad kid in school, but he actually gets worse as he gets older, but that's not what happened. I thought the kid at the beginning was going to be Ice Cube when he got older, but they didn't do that. Ice Cube was actually the little kid that got sent to prison, and I didn't figure that out, and I didn't look at the cast. I just saw Ice Cube, and Lawrence Fishburne was in here, and Angela Bassett, and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, and the way that all these other things happen, it's like, it actually fit into a very unique story that is it's not really a comedy per se, it's more of a drama of showing this very bad neighborhood, but how this father can teach his son really well. And you can see throughout the entire film that, yeah, he was a veteran, he knows about all the stuff that's happened in the world, but at the same time, he reads, he learns a lot, and it's really interesting. Even throughout all the other characters that are so interesting, every character kind of has something interesting about him. Even the people that went to prison, they're not stupid. They can read, and like Ice Cube says, though they have this morality of things that is kind of different, but yet they're still caught up in this gang life. And so everything about it just worked really well, and I am so glad I was able to watch this, because this was black cinema at its finest. Alright, so now we're talking about Boyhood, and this was a very interesting movie. Because at first I saw it was a film starring Ethan Hawke, and he's like, he's a divorced father with this mother, and he babysits his kids, and I thought it was a nice drama between that. But then you started realizing, with this movie being 2 hours and 45 minutes, you start to realize that this film is basically showing boyhood, like from when you were a little kid to when you were a teenager, and then you're off to college. But what's even more amazing is the fact that this film was shot for over 12 years, showing this family growing and these siblings growing, and I'm like, that is such a unique way to tell a story, and this is absolute cinema. To where every single sequence just feels real, and it makes sense because every performance feels real, and especially watching this in the summer in a nostalgic time just felt very unique. Obviously, the things that this kid does in the movie Mason, I don't relate to, but I know a lot of others can, and so this was just a very interesting experience that I really enjoyed, and I honestly want to see more movies like this, because this is what cinema is. Alright, so now we're talking about The Sound of Music, and this was one that, I was interested in watching it because I heard it starred Julie Andrews, who played Mary Poppins, which I actually saw this before I saw Mary Poppins in July, and I saw this on a late Saturday night in the middle and on spring break this year, and honestly, I just happened to fall in love with it. I fell in love with Julie Andrews, I fell in love with her voice, and I fell in love with these songs. And yeah, it is a very long movie. But at the same time, so much of this stuff, the children in here, there's there's so many children that you can connect to, so it's it doesn't feel like you're left out. Almost every song just had me humming, especially Do Me Re Mi De Sol La Ti Do. It's so memorable, it's so rewatchable, and the fact that that guy and Julie Andrews' character started to fall in love, it's so interesting. So yeah, this is easily one of my favorite films, and I have loved it ever since.
Carrie.
And yeah, Carrie, it's in my top 10. I absolutely loved Carrie, and honestly, this was a film that I was so excited for, kind of, but my sister I saw it with my sister for my Halloween movie watch, and it was just such a film that I connected with so well. First off, I love the idea that high school is a horror film, and that it's a fact. High school is a place to be scared of. And it's not a false statement, it's not a joke, it's a fact. As teenagers, we fear high school, not even just high school, but really school in general. And with this girl who people don't like, and also her mom going crazy, you could obviously tell that you would definitely be scared of high school and everybody and all that stuff. But even then, it's not just that everybody hates her. They don't go fully hating on this girl. They actually do give her a little bit to actually like her and to actually care about her. And then all of the happiness gets blown away when the pig blood falls on her. And it's executed so well with the red inducing. It's so brilliant. Absolutely loved it.
Born to flex, diamonds on my neck. I like boarding jets, I like more than sex, but nothing in this world that I like more than checks.
Alright, so now we're talking about Hustlers. Now, I went into this movie kind of just expecting a sexy film starring J-Lo and Cardi B and Lizzo and all these other actresses. And for the first part of it, for the first few scenes of it is kind of that. You know, these ladies, they're attractive. But then the story actually starts getting very interesting, to where you start to realize that this is basically the Goodfellas for strippers. And it's a very cool story to just see that these women, they do not care about you. They do not care about these men. They just want your money. And their performances are so good. But even then, it doesn't just portray them as they're perfect, they go to jail, blah blah blah, movie over. It actually takes place in a certain point that actually is a real story, like a Goodfellas would, where it takes place in a different point. It takes place in like the late 2000s, 2008, where like the house stock market was going crazy, and I really liked the way it played into that, and the way all these situations kind of happened, and once again, all the performances are great. The way the story played out, I just thought was absolutely exceptional, and just a very interesting movie.
In a world that's powered by violence, on the streets where the violent have power, a new generation carries on an old tradition.
Alright, now it's Goodfellas, and of course, this is the iconic cinema film that is directed by Martin Scorsese, and that he thinks that these are the films that truly are cinema. And, as it is on my list, I thought this was absolute cinema. This is perfect cinema at its finest. To be honest, you know, coming off of the last 2 years before watching the Godfather trilogy, I was very impressed with this film, and the fact that Martin Scorsese made a mafia movie that was able to be fun, entertaining, but at the same time still felt in line with what Godfather was, where it's serious to where you're laughing at one point and then it's not funny because people have to pay the price for what they did. And it's such an interesting concept, but I love it that it's the story of this kid who as he grew up became a gangster and grew up with all these people, and every single performance is great. The situations that happen, and truly understanding the mafia and what they are, is something truly awesome. So, loved this movie.
Happy birthday to you.
You told him it was my birthday?
Seemed funny about 3 hours ago.
Okay, now we have The Menu, and this one I watched during October during my Halloween month marathon, and this one just surprised me to where I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, like, it gives me two of the greatest things that I love. Food, talking about food, getting excited about food, but then yet it mixes in this creepiness where everybody is like getting their own symbols on their food, and they're eating food that's weird, and it's like discussing all this stuff about, like, you don't like my food, this is how I do it, this is my experience, this is part of the menu. And you have all these people that, like, they're wealthy, and you see that this whole meal is basically a punishment to the wealthy because they're arrogant and everything. But then you have one of the people who is one of the normies that can see past the chef. And it was such an interesting, complex film that I truly loved, that has great performances, and honestly, from start to finish, it is a masterpiece. Honestly, it's a masterpiece. Alright, now we're talking about Kill Bill, and this was an interesting one because I remember I saw this at the end of my classic Hollywood cinema thing at the end of July. And as I was doing that throughout July, I was wanting to come across a film that would impact me. And I just never really saw any movie that really impacted me. Until I came across Kill Bill. To where I realized, oh yeah, this is my perfect thing. Of course I like Quentin Tarantino movies with Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But this film just kind of gave me everything I want in a movie. It gives me action. It gives me great music and a score. It gives me like a vibe in the way it uses colors. And it freaking has an anime sequence. And I'm not even a fan of anime. And it made me like anime in a movie for a sequence. And I'm like, if you want to use anime for sequences, go ahead. Use it in movies for sequences. I don't care. And you use it for the best thing that it's possible for. So I absolutely loved this movie. And I need to see the full 4-hour cut. Because I need to do that.
This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight. Superman, the movie.
Ah, yes, finally. My top favorite film of the year of first-time watches is Superman. Of course, I had to see this for the first time to get ready for the new Superman movie that came out this year. And I feel so terrible for not seeing this sooner because I absolutely loved this movie. Throughout my life, I always questioned why everybody loves Superman, because if he's so perfect, then why would people like this character? It just doesn't make any sense. But because he's so perfect, there's certain lines of stuff in there that like make it palatable. And in this movie, it really summarizes what Superman is. And the fact that it's the first big superhero movie that inspired so many other movies like Spider-Man, with Superman 2 inspiring Spider-Man 2. Like all of this stuff. And keep in mind, it's not a big action blockbuster. It's a blockbuster, but it's not the action kind. And it's a very unique film that actually focuses on story and performances and score and, you know, the Kansas fields and all that stuff. And all of it was just very unique. Every performance is unique. Christopher Reeve as Superman, Clark Kent. You buy him in both Clark Kent and Superman. He's probably the best Superman in my opinion. And he just perfected this character so well. And I truly love this movie. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I have been obsessed with it. And honestly, because I had to rewatch it for this list, I now have a new love for Superman. I literally got a lot of Superman stuff for Christmas. Yeah, this is practically my favorite movie of the year for first time watches. And that is my list of my favorite films of 2025.